Radical Radio Collective.
Good afternoon, listeners. You're tuned into 4ZZZ 102.1 FM. This is Australia's longest-running peace and environment radio show, probably.
Probably 50 years on the almost.
Yeah, almost. We're at 49, we reckon. So, yeah, wow. Long time.
It's a long time.
Only 1 year after the station was founded.
Yeah, I was going to say half a decade, but that's incorrect. Half a century.
Yeah. Yeah, when you put it like that, 4ZZZ have been around for half a century. Is pretty wild, right?
Yeah.
Years.
What else was going on in 1975?
Nothing.
I don't know.
Nothing else happened.
I can't think of anything else. Unironically.
Well, we're taking over your middle of the day, middle of the week, end of the month airwaves. My name is Dave. My pronouns are he, him.
My name is Zack. My pronouns are he, they.
And we want to start off by acknowledging and paying our respects to the custodians on the country in which we broadcast. We're located in the city Mungingin on Turrbal, Yoga and Yucca land. I also want to acknowledge and pay my respects to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people who are listening in today. Our radio waves reach Cubby Cubby and Unibara country in the north, Waka Waka country in the west. In the east, we pay our respects to the Cornamucka people, and down south, we reach the Commonmary, Nagaragwal, Mununjali, Wanjerabara, Yugambeh, and Bundjalung countries. There is no Crown land. And thank you to No Idea. Max doing it solo today, but yeah, holding it down. Today we will be talking to Hannah Schuch she's the Queensland campaign manager for the Wilderness Society. We're going to be talking about the Eco Ekka that's coming up this weekend. And also I want to talk about their deforestation watch. Zack, you'll be bringing us some news.
I do have some news. One is on Daniel Ek, the CEO of Spotify, leading a round of investment for a German company called Helsing, which produces AI military and drones. So that's very much on the eco-radio peace side of things rather than the environment side of things.
Yeah.
And the other one I wanted to mention is plans. Ormiston College, which is a college out in Redlands, the Redlands area, has plans to expand, and that expansion will lead to the removal of koala habitat.
Koala habitat, yeah.
Koala priority zones, as it is labelled in the Redlands City Council Wildlife Connections Plan.
Oh, good on them for having a plan and then not abiding by it.
Yeah.
Well, we're also going to be bringing you a fantastic track.
Yeah.
We are lucky enough to bring you the world exclusive premiere of the Randomised Experiences debut single.
Whoa!
Yeah, so this is an anthem created to celebrate the 50th anniversary of 4ZZZ.
Oh, that's fun.
The Randomised Experience is a supergroup including 20 local music legends, and it's possibly the only appearance of a kazoo and a theremin in a punk song. I'm a big fan of theremins. They're wacky.
I'm going to have to Google what that is. I can't even picture it in my mind.
Okay, so a theremin is a electric musical instrument that uses your magnetic field to use pitch and tone. So the closer you get to a rod, which produces the electric field, the higher your tone will be, or lower your volume, lower your pitch. Or
interesting.
Yeah, it's really crazy.
An ensemble cast of both artists and instruments.
Yeah, it really is. And all proceeds from the sale of this song on Bandcamp will be donated to 4ZZZ. The single launch is on this Sunday at 7 p.m. at the Cave Inn. So that's going to be a huge, great party. And I hope this has gotten everyone in the mood. Let's give the track a listen. This is its first ever spin. This is 50 Years of Zeds, in parentheses, and We're Not Dead by the Randomised Experience. You're listening to 4ZZZ. This is Eco Radio.
After a phenomenally successful one-day festival earlier this year, Bugfest returns to the Cave Inn on Saturday the 2nd of August. Don't miss performances from Amarty, Lizzie Flynn and the Runaway Trains, Those Folk, Sue Whiten and the Margaritas, and more. Tickets are on sale now for $40 via Humanitix or $50 at the door. Doors are at 2:30pm and will be running up to 10:30pm. Brisbane Unplugged Gigs are a proud sponsor of 4ZZZ.
Whoa, we just heard then from the randomised experience with the first play of that track ever. That was 50 Years of Zed and We're Not Dead. That is full of power and punk and energy, and yeah, that was a great track. I really enjoyed that.
I did too. I really enjoyed the theremin in that.
Yeah, it was great. A little bit of kazoo as well. But let's go on to our interview for today. Today we're talking to Hannah Schuch, the Queensland Campaigns Manager for the Wilderness Society. Hannah, how are you today?
Good, thanks, Dave. Thanks for having me.
No, our pleasure. So you guys are putting on a event called the Eco Ekka this weekend.
Yes.
What is the Eco Ekka?
The Eco Ekka is it's the first time we've done an event like this. It's a free community fun day at Yeronga Memorial Park. And it's really an opportunity for Queenslanders from across Meanjin and beyond to come together to celebrate our state's unique forests and bushland that are really under continued threat from deforestation. But it's also to celebrate community, to celebrate a sustainable beef industry. And basically, we can care about koalas and we can care about a sustainable beef industry, all while trying to stop the bulldozers. And, yeah, we're coming together to celebrate nature and to try and end deforestation, basically.
Yeah, so how do we have a sustainable beef industry without deforestation? It seems like we just never have enough farmland for the beef industry.
Yeah, great question. At the Wilderness Society, we have crunched the numbers. The Queensland government puts out what's called the statewide land cover and tree study every year that shows how much land clearing and deforestation is happening across this state. It shows that every year about 400,000 hectares of forest and bushland is cleared or destroyed to make way, and a vast majority of that is to make way for beef production.
Mm-hmm.
But what our analysis also shows is that it is what we call a rogue minority of actors who are having the biggest impact. And to us, that's not great news, but it gives us some hope in that we know that it is not the vast majority of producers who are having the largest impact. It is a small few, and we use that to show that there can be a sustainable beef industry in Queensland, and there already is, but it's up to corporations and governments to support it, because you can protect forests while producing sustainable beef.
Yeah, so does that look more like grazing beef in and around forests and not clear felling or deforesting the land first?
Absolutely, Dave. So a lot of Queensland's forest and bushland are open woodlands, native grasslands that can be grazed sustainably. Obviously, we know that grazing can have an impact itself, but we're focused on making sure that these areas aren't cleared or destroyed to make way for pastures. And we know that deforestation is having an impact on threatened species habitat, like habitat for the koala, for the greater glider. It's emitting carbon emissions. So when these trees are bulldozed, they are either left to rot or they're burnt, and that's emissions straight into the atmosphere. It's runoff into the Great Barrier Reef, and essentially we're destroying the trees and the forests that provide, healthy ecosystems for not only animals but for communities in terms of fresh water and air that we breathe. So it is with the unique ecosystems that are found across Queensland. They can be grazed sustainably, but they must also be protected for their ecological and cultural values. And that's what we're trying to communicate with this event, that you can have both. While Queensland is a deforestation hotspot, and majority is happening for beef production, we want to give Queenslanders an opportunity to basically demand change from companies in the beef supply chain like supermarkets and our federal government, who really can make sure that Queensland is a deforestation-free state.
Yeah, so what does Queensland's agricultural future look like in the Wilderness Society's view? Is there like there is for eggs, there's free-range eggs, is there going to be a deforestation-free beef sticker?
Great question. We would love to see a future where, and we believe that it's not far from happening. We're just trying to speed it up a little bit in that, Queensland could be a state that allows its forests and bushlands to thrive, that supports land managers who are doing the right thing, who aren't clearing vast tracts of forest and bushland every year, and who are managing their livelihood sustainably. We want to see these forests protected so that the climate is protected, so that our Great Barrier Reef can be enjoyed and it isn't smothered in chemical and sediment runoff. I think this is it's not unthinkable and unrealistic. We're seeing many shifts away from destructive practices, both in Australia and internationally. As I said before, every year it is a small minority who are having the biggest impact. But, at the corporate level, Woolworths has now made a commitment to go deforestation free, and we hope that Coles will make one in their upcoming sustainability report. Our national nature laws, we've been told that they are being reformed. They must do something to deal with deforestation. And then internationally, we're seeing that the EU came out with the world-class EU deforestation regulation, basically saying that they would not take imported goods that came from deforestation. Banks are making commitments. There's a heap of movement, and I just map all of these out for you because I think it is absolutely possible that we can get to a state where deforestation is no longer, one of the biggest threats to wildlife and to the climate, but to one where these ecosystems that are full of natural and cultural values are protected and respected, and the world's going that way. It just needs to be sped up.
Yeah, you were saying that the majority of graziers are doing the right thing. But the way that you guys find out about deforestation that is possibly illegal is the Watch on Nature tool. Can you tell me about that tool?
Absolutely. So Watch on Nature is our citizen science web-based app where we use the latest Sentinel-2 satellite imagery to track deforestation. And essentially we're doing this because we know that our state and federal governments aren't keeping an eye on nature like they need to be. Essentially we're doing their job for them. And when we have teams of volunteers all over Meanjin and actually all over the country tracking deforestation pretty much as it happens or just slightly after the fact. And what we do when we find it is we then notify the authorities, state and federal regulators, and we basically ask them, how is this happening? Our understanding, most of the clearing that we are finding through Watch on Nature is in areas that are mapped for threatened species. And under the Federal Environment Law, our EPBC Act, projects that may impact these federally listed threatened species must be referred before they commence. And we're seeing through the satellite imagery that that's not happening. So it really is, it has come down to, an independent NGO, not-for-profit organisation like the Wilderness Society, to track what's happening, I suppose, from the sky on the ground, because our government isn't doing their job. But yeah, it really does show that deforestation for beef is happening across Queensland every day. As I said, it is not everyone who's having the biggest impact, but it's up to companies like the biggest buyers and sellers of beef, Coles and Woolworths, to ensure that their buying and selling practices aren't ending up with products that are coming from deforestation on their shelves. And it's up to our federal government to make sure that they both enforce the law but strengthen it to make sure this doesn't keep going. We've signed so many international agreements around, nature protection, and while this is ongoing, we're not protecting the bush here in Queensland or beyond.
Yeah. Okay. Well, can you tell us about the Ekka? What is going to be happening at the event this Saturday?
Totally. So we're really excited. This is our first Ekka.
Yep.
As I said before, it's an event that celebrates Queensland's forest and bushland. It really intends to paint a vision for a future where these ecosystems are protected and respected, and it supports a sustainable agricultural industry, because you can support a sustainable beef industry, but also want to see, Australian critters like the koala saved from bulldozers.
Yeah.
So we're holding this event at Yeronga Memorial Park on this Saturday from 10 to 1. There will be a forest-friendly barbecue with sausages provided from local farmers. There will be kids' activities and face painting. There'll be some lovely live music, a raffle, and just basically a range of ways to take action for forest and bushland protection and show these big companies and the government, who really have the power to protect Queensland's forest and bushland, that there's a community coming together in support of their protection and for action for our environment.
Yeah. All right. Thanks very much, Hannah, for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Dave. Love what you guys do on Eco Radio.
Oh, cheers. That was Hannah Schuch, the Queensland Campaigns Manager for the Wilderness Society. You are back with 4ZZZ. This is Eco Radio. My name is Dave.
My name is Zack.
And we just heard then from Tom Lair, who was passed away recently. That was his song Poisoning Pigeons in the Park. I played the CSA about feeding bread to ducks after that.
Do you poison pigeons in the park, Dave?
If you feed them bread.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't think about it that way. Unintentional poisoning.
Yeah. And then after that was the Gas Collective with Girl Called Bessie. And, that brings us up to date with songs. If you like what we do here at 4ZZZ and you want to become part of the family, or even just support us monetarily, you can go to 4zzz.org.au/support and pitch in to keep the lights on, keep the radio waves pumping. You can pitch in for as little as $25 for under 18s or pets, and they don't have to be a dog or a cat.
They don't.
They can be a velvet worm,
It doesn't even have to be a pet. Could just be an animal that kind of hangs out at your house.
Yeah.
Bush turkey,
Yeah.
scrub turkey,
Butcher bird.
What else do we say? Possums with
If you're-
long dangling balls.
Yeah. And if you're lucky enough, maybe you do have a koala in the backyard.
That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
If you do subscribe this month, you can get a mixed 6 stopper pack from Non. That is a 6-pack of non-alcoholic wines. We all need some good wine without alcohol in it at some points. And yeah, if you subscribe this month, there is the chance to win that. Also, if you want to text in the studio, text in Dave and I, you can message 0420 626 733.
Yeah,
Tell
just
us-
like Paul did. Paul said, "Hey Dave and Zack, love the randomised experience. Nice tribute to the 50 years of 4ZZZ." Yeah, it for sure was. It's a fantastic tribute, and all profits from that song on Bandcamp goes straight to 4ZZZ. Will be donated.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
Just go
just
and buy
other
it.
ways that you can support 4ZZZ. And yeah, if you want to subscribe, that's the first step in becoming part of the family here and eventually taking over Eco Radio.
Yeah, you can come and hang out with us.
Yeah.
And eventually we'll leave it and give it to you entirely. Or ditch it.
Yeah, just like it was given to me. Yeah.
But speaking of, I suppose, music platforms, Dave, such as Bandcamp, this is a bit of news that is sort of the intersection between the peace side of Eco Radio that we cover sometimes and what 4ZZZ is built upon, and that is music. So on June the 17th, the Spotify CEO and co-founder was named as the chairman for Helsing, a German military technology company founded in 2021. So Helsing, not only is that quite a, I don't know, it's quite the name for a German, for a military company in general. Like, that is like, oh, that's a bit intense, isn't it?
I imagine that it's a takeoff of Van Helsing.
Yes.
That'd be the vampire hunter from
Helsing.
the Dracula stories.
Yeah. I assume so as well, but you know, who we classify as a vampire or not.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. But Mr. Eck, through an investment firm he co-founded called Prima Materia, has been the main contributor to a funding round totaling $690 million US, or roughly 1.1 billion Australian dollars, to Helsing. And this has led to a response in several notable artists, taking some of their music off of Spotify, including King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard, Deerhoof, and Schuch. This is not the first time Mr. Eck has invested in Helsing via Prima Materia, as in 2021, in October 2021, where the company was very much getting off the ground, there were he invested 100 million euros, or roughly 180 million, Australian dollars into it. And Helsing, for those who don't know, I didn't know before I started doing a little bit more research on it, primarily builds AI software for the process information from defense systems to boost weapons capabilities in drones and jet fighters, and to improve battlefield decisions. However, it has expanded into producing both aerial and underwater drones. The company states that it is ethical and exclusively sells to democracies, and has mostly been taking contracts from European countries, and its products are involved in the Ukraine-Russia conflict currently, on the side of Ukraine. I would like to mention as well that most estimates suggest that Spotify pays 0.3 to 0.5 cents per stream for the artists, or they make roughly between $3,000 and $5,000 dollars per million streams. So
Not a lot.
yeah, not a lot. There's a time to get off Spotify, I suppose. Now might be the time more than ever.
Yeah, there are more ethical streaming or music platforms to go for. And if you want to look at the randomised experience on one of those platforms and pitch in, buy some randomised experience sounds, that will be donated to 4ZZZ, and there's nothing more ethical than that.
Yes, I do want to mention as well that when they say they are ethical and sell exclusively to democracies, I wouldn't necessarily consider every democracy ethical.
Yeah, no, that's
weird.
quite a weird statement. It's being like, oh, we only supply killer weapons for ethical reasons.
Yeah, exactly. We only get to kill.
And it's all dependent on what your ethics are, anyways. If your ethics is just earning, making money.
Yeah, exactly. I think as well to label every non-democratic country as bad as that kind of blanket statement implies it's not very nuanced, is it? I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Frank texted in. He's saying, great show today. I really like the song about 4ZZZ at the start of the show. Yeah, that is a great song.
Thank you, Frank.
That was world premiere for that song by the Randomised Experience. And you can listen back to that on 4ZZZ website.
Yep.
Where the show replays. Because if you find us on a podcast, we've actually taken all the music out.
Still, go and find us on a podcast. Of the most popular platforms, I suppose, there's only one rating of it.
Oh, yeah.
And it's got 5 stars, and that was done by me. So make it more, please. It's sad if I'm the only one who's done it for something I produce.
Yeah, that's true.
You're listening to Eco Radio, the radio of the future.
You are listening to Eco Radio, the radio of the future. Thank you, small child. Wow, that was pretty on it.
Not bad. There was a bit of a
bit of a lag.
Yeah, but we got there.
Zach,
yes.
We just got a text in from Pete Davies. He said, very interested to hear about the Redlands school expansion into koala habitat. He says, I live in the Redlands and the council have been pumping out heaps of koala awareness and protection articles on their social media recently. Sounds like the typical double standards of this council. What do we know about that, Zach?
So, the Ormiston College out in the Redlands is seeking approval from the state government for expansion plans which will involve the clearing of koala habitat trees. The campus backs onto the Hilliards Creek corridor, which contains frequent koala activity, is a koala priority zone and has core koala habitats, I should say, according to the Redlands City Council Wildlife Connections Plan. The college's principal, Michael Hornby, insists that it is navigating environmental concerns and ultimately the ecological value of the site will be strengthened with the planting of 9 times as many koala food trees. The Koala Action Group in the local area argues, though, that nearly a third of koala habitat will be removed. Davy Pointing, a member of the group, has stated that the planting of new trees cannot replace the fully grown trees that support koalas and other species at the site. Now, to get into what Pete was saying there, typically a development application would need to be lodged with the local council, in this case the Redland City Council. However, in southeast Queensland, development is prohibited if it interferes with a koala priority zone, which this development does, and thus was rejected by the Redland City Council previously. However, the Ormiston College has applied for a ministerial infrastructure design that directly goes to the Minister of State Development, Local Government and Planning, and that can essentially overrule local regulations.
Right.
So, yeah, they're bypassing local regulations, taking it directly to the Minister just to get around it. The planned expansion through a ministerial infrastructure design also reduces community input, as although the public can submit concerns up until the 11th of August, ultimately the right of a third-party appeal is removed.
So no matter how many people come out against it, there's no right of appeal.
Yeah, that's what it says on the news articles I've been reading.
Yeah, right.
Although they, as I said, they can still submit inputs, but it can kind of just be ignored.
Yeah. So, so they're planning to take away this koala habitat for what is it? It's a swimming pool?
A 50-metre Olympic swimming pool, a boarding house, an indoor sports complex, and new junior sporting fields, all very necessary, I assume.
Yeah. I looked into this because the private schools get a lot of government funding.
Yeah.
And I looked into the revenue from government grants and funding. So for Ormiston College, it's $13.4 million a year. This was specifically from 2020 to 2021.
It's a lot of dollary-doos.
Yeah. So essentially they're paying, the Queensland government is paying for koala habitat removal. Yeah.
We love that.
Just...
The ministerial infrastructure design as well, that is usually only, from my understanding at least, it's usually only when a certain minister is like, hey, we want this space approved for like a new public school, for example.
Yeah.
But this is it's like outside the scope of even what the ministerial infrastructure design is usually used for. Which is also interesting. And I also want to mention as well, while we're on koala habitat out in the Redlands area, the Birkdale Community Precinct is slated for the home of the whitewater rafting facility for the Olympics. Yep. And that, again, is another area where there is a lot of koala. Like, there is quite a lot of suitable koala habitat at that Birkdale Community Precinct. So... koala habitat out in the Redlands, at least at the moment, seems to appear to be on the...
chopping block.
Yeah, decline.
Only important when there isn't a development in place. We just got a lovely text in from Marky. Marky says, g'day guys, hope you're having a great week. Yeah, sure thing, Marky. We are, hope you are too. He's having to... pull out or chop down acacia macadamia, zigzag wattles, out of one of their bushland reserves today as they're clumping and creating a monoculture. Yeah, that's a rough one, Marky. There's such a beautiful bloom of an acacia. Yeah, it's rough. But he says that he is getting a lovely bouquet of native flowers for his mum.
Cute.
So lucky Marky's mum. That's a great bouquet.
Spoil the surprise for her if she's tuned in.
Oh, she might be. It's a different Marky. Marky's mum. It's a different Marky. All right, let's go into a thing that Marky's pretty interested in. It's bushcare, and this is the weekly roundup for things that we can do in the environment and peace movement.
It's a bushcare roundup. They've been pulling out weeds, and then they put in trees. It's a bushcare roundup.
All right, kicking off on Saturday the 2nd at 7 o'clock, you can go to the Crosby Road Bushcare Working Bee. That's in Ascot. At 7:30, you can go to the Tall Trees Circuit Park Bushcare Working Bee. That's in Wakerley. At 10 o'clock, you can go to the Ekka that we talked about with the Hannah from the Wilderness Society. That's happening in Yeronga Memorial Park in Yeronga. And at 1 o'clock, you can go to a Short-Beaked Echidna survey. That's happening at JJ Smith Park in Marsden.
On Sunday the 3rd, from 7:45 till 9:30, there is a Toohey Forest guided bushwalk with Brad Lambert. That one is at the Griffith Eco Centre in Nathan.
Yeah, I'll just go jump in there. Brad is such a fantastic guide in Toohey Forest. His eyes are just so attuned to finding koalas. I bet he could, spot 15 koalas on a 15-minute walk. Like, it's amazing. I've interviewed him before and walking around Toohey Forest. It's just, fantastic. He'll just stop you mid-conversation and go, there's a koala, and then walk on a little bit. Oh, there's another one.
Please check out his Facebook page, Toohey Forest Wildlife, if you want to get see some photos of all the wildlife there is in Toohey Forest.
Yeah.
From 8:30 till 11 a.m, there's the PPCG Natural Bush Regeneration. That was at Anstead Anstead Bushland Reserve in Anstead. From 3 till 5 p.m. on Sunday the 3rd, there is the Bridgewater Park Bushcare. That one is at 5 Vistula Circuit in Springfield.
On Tuesday the 5th at 8 o'clock, you can go to the Bundamba Creek Ipswich land-based cleanup. That's at Bundamba Skate Park in Bundamba.
And on Wednesday the 6th, just before Eco Radio next week at 7:30, there's the Success Street Bushcare. That one is at the corner of Success Street and Beatty Road in Acacia Ridge.
All right. Which one of those are you looking to go to, Zach?
If I can, so I don't have a great sleep schedule at the moment. I usually get home from work at about 4:30 a.m. So if I can be up early enough, I will like to go to the Eco Ekka. That one, that we talked with Hannah from the Wilderness Society with earlier today.
Yeah, I might have to go to the... Oh, no, I'm busy then.
No.
But I would go to the Toohey Forest Guided Bushwalk with Brad Lambert. Just a wealth of knowledge there.
Yeah.
Is,
nice.
Really, really interesting, really fantastic to talk to. And
there's a lot more wildlife than you think there would be in Toohey Forest as well.
Yeah.
Echidna's there. I've seen lace monitors.
Yep.
I've seen I think called a major skink. Bearded dragons. I think even recently there was a glider spotted in there too.
Oh, really?
Maybe a couple months ago now, but...
Okay. They got powerful owls and, all sorts. Fantastic time. Thank you so much for listening in today. You can stick around for the coolest cat on radio. Up next is Jordan with Sonic Aliens. They're going to be interviewing the Unknowns and Rinse.
Yes, so stick around for that. They'll take care of you from 1 till 3, and then after that you've got Goo. We love Sonic Aliens and Goo. Just a general, very good Wednesday afternoon here on 4ZZZ.
And Mucky also texted in and said his mum is a 4EB listener, so we're all good. Mucky's mum wouldn't hear that he's got a bouquet coming in for you.
Oh, excellent. And as we discussed earlier, Dave, King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard was one of the people who's removed some of their songs from Spotify. And I believe we're going to go out with their song Dead Stick off their new album.
Fantastic. Stick around. You're for Sonic Aliens.